we'll start with the thigh, right? So in the front of the leg, we have 3 compartments, right? Because the quads are roughly in 3 packets. So there's vastus lateralis, there's rectus femoris, right?
That's what I know.
Yeah, great. And there's vastus medialis, and then underneath is vastus intermedius. I think that's so 3 packets of quads. So depending on the size of your hand, the size of the patient's legs, you can try and take more than 1 packet at the same time, or you can break it up into the 3 distinct packets. I will caution you, on the side of the leg is the ITB, the iliotibial band, sometimes called the iliotibial tract. This is a band of connective tissue that is non-contractile and usually is tight on many people. Right? And so if you dig into the side of that with your thumbs, many patients will find that uncomfortable. So make sure that you're using the pads of your thumbs when you're doing the pinching, kneading, right? So pinching.
Or it will tickle.
Kneading. Particularly in the kneading, avoid trying to use too much thumb action. Let your body do the work instead.
Yeah, that's gonna tickle.
And then grasping we haven't looked at yet, so
How do you deal with the tickling if that ends up tickling the client, the patient?
I'm really tickled.
in general, the less you do it with your fingers, and the more you move from here, the less ticklish it is. So if I'm all like, that's ticklish for people. But if my hands don't move, right, and I generate pressure by shifting my weight, that's generally not ticklish for people.
And if it's too ticklish, do you just stop?
I've
Or-
never encountered that.
Wow.
Try just flattening. Don't use sharp.
Yeah.
Use this area.
I mean, it's possible that that could happen. I just haven't encountered it.
Okay.
So I can't answer it. I wish I had a better answer for you. Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing is how you approach it, right? If I'm like, oh, this is gonna be hilarious, it makes him more sensitive to it. If I'm like, just doing my job, right, then that sort of calms the room and then the patient.
Or maybe they're just scared of you.
Maybe
That's
it's
what you
scared
did.
of me.
I would be like nervous. Like, come on back.
So grasping. Grasping is like when you have a wet towel and you want to squeeze all the water out to the end of the towel. Right? Yeah, this is more ringing. Right? That's another technique that we probably won't get to in this course, but if you come and take the second version of 20 with me, we will definitely get to it. But grasping, similar, but not quite the same, right? Because in ringing, you're really rotating the fibers in opposite directions. In grasping, you're just sort of like squeezing the fibers to move things along. So it's more like milking a cow, which is not something I've done, but I imagine that that's how it's done. Or like, no, I grew up in Brooklyn. Not many cows anymore.
Didn't you read the book A Cow Grows in Brooklyn?
I've seen the book, but
Wait, that's
reading
a
a
tree
book
grows
is
in
not the same as milking a
Wait,
cow.
what?
Unless it's a really
I
weird
was
book.
gonna say, that's true.
So, you know, like I said, if I throw out imagery and it resonates with you, great. Hold on to it. If you're like, what? Throw it out. Ignore it. That's fine, right? Like, I'm just trying to help. So, I'm trying to move fluids from up here all the way down out into the ends of the channels. Right? So, there is a sequential aspect to it. So I'll start by flexing each set of fingers individually. So that's one component that's going on. And then there is a rotating quality to it also.
Like what we do in Qigong.
Exactly! I was just going to say that,
Wow.
but now I don't even
That's
have
awesome.
to, right? So, that was great. So, just try and, it's hard in the legs, because legs are big, right? It's much easier in forearm or in other places, the trapezius or the deltoids or something like that. But it has this quality, like the fluids and things down the leg, right? And so I'll use this as sort of a cuff to prevent things from sliding back upward. And then I'll start to squeeze things down, and then I'll slide this to continue the movement so that I don't get any backflip. Right? It's difficult, but you can practice.
Can
Pass
you-
over the knee?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it over the knee because there's no muscle there, right? And even here, you could do a little bit of it, but really it's not so useful because you're not really getting around enough of the muscle belly to make real movement happen. So typically this is reserved for the thigh. Will you roll onto your left side, please? So, have the patient roll onto their left side. We're going to dredge the IT band. This is everybody's least favorite technique in the entire course. Sorry.
It's worse than rolling.
First things first, you take the bottom leg and you bend it. Right? And you want the hips to be slightly flexed as well. And then I'm going to place the upper leg into the fleshy part of the calf right below the knee. So that it's braced and supported and comfortable. And I'll often check, is that comfortable for you?
Yes.
If it's not, some people have really bony legs or don't have much support there. You can place a towel or a pillow in between their knees, and that can also be helpful. You do not want this to be directly on top of this, because as I start to put pressure onto it, it's going to rotate, and that's going to put a little twist. So you want it a little bit there. And then you want the bottom end to be supported also. So it can take a little while to figure out what the ideal arrangement is. Ideally, you want the leg to be relatively straight because I can dredge the IT band, which is here, but I can also dredge all the way down the gallbladder channel to here. It's possible to do this from a standing position if the table is in the right position and the patient's in the right position and the heights all work. But I will typically climb onto the table because it's much easier to navigate my body alignment that way. Right? So while I can do this here, right, and I can do it comfortably, it also encourages me into the very end range of where my alignments are proper, right? And it could very quickly fall apart where now my alignments suck, right? So if I climb onto the table, I'll place my knee right behind his leg, right? So that my hips are faced in the direction that I'm going to be working. The greater trochanter is right here. Right? So I want to start just distal to the trochanter. Okay? And usually I'll stabilize above the trochanter. I'm going to be working at the proximal 1/3 of my forearm. So not the bony part. That part's really painful. The fleshy part, which is less painful. Okay?
Right here.
And I'm going to sink down to the level of the tissue, and then I'm going to rotate my arm in place to take up all the slack. So you can see that happening right here in the pants. Right here, I'll put a little fold.
Mm.
So, no, it's not this, right? Because I'm going to push later. It's staying in place, right?
Okay.
Right? So it's not just turn the arm over, because that hasn't done anything with the slack. It's connect into the fleshy layer and then rotate, because that's what takes up slack, right? And then, just like in some of our other techniques, whichever way your arms align, that's the direction my force goes, right? So if my arms pointed this way, I can generate force towards the ceiling. If my arms this way, it's force towards the window. This way, it's force towards the table on an angle. And this way, it's force down towards the floor. So if my body's here, and my arm's like this, which way is my force going? Down into the table. But I want to make force go that way. So it's very difficult to make the force navigate a 90-degree turn, right? And that is going to be excruciatingly painful for your patients. So what you need to do is get your body behind your arm, just like in the pushing or the rolling. So I need to open up the space in the armpit, extend my elbow forward, place this, and now my arm's at an angle. And that's going to make it easier to translate down the leg, okay? I'll usually do a little bit of gentle pushing on the leg to to warm the leg up, see if there's any particular tightness. Horse is like actually feels pretty relaxed to me. And then it's one swift motion. This is like you have a gutter on the edge of your roof. It's clogged with like leaves and dirt and crap. So if you go like this and you stick your hands in the gutter, and you try and move all the stuff out.
It's gonna start to.
Yeah, it's just gonna like trickle through your fingers, and most of it's gonna stay in the gutter. So what do? Right? You throw all that crap onto your neighbor's roof.
Exactly.
Right? Or the other way that I like to think about it, when you just finish showering and you've got all the water on you, and you're like, right? You get all the water off of your skin. It has that sort of speed and that sort of quality to it.
Feels nice.
You can launch your back.
I
So
noticed
2-3
that-
times.
I noticed that you like breathe out when you. Is that something we should be conscious of?
I wasn't conscious of that. Makes sense.
And that in no way, like that diagonal doesn't mess with his back.
There's no diagonal.
How it,
Turn back. I want you to.
if
You can do it
someone's
again.
here,
It's
your
nice.
body is like,
Either they won't be able to see it if I do it.
oh,
Where's the
you're
diagonal?
leaning. Okay.
It also feels nice.
Right? I'm taking up the slack. And then I'm shifting my weight. I'm not doing
Okay.
a twist. Right? I'm coming to just before the knee.
There's a bone there. It catches it.
Yeah, I ideally I don't want to hit the bone.
Oh.
You can turn onto your back again.